Welcome to NFL Uncorked. I'm Lakisha Wesseling, and today we have a special guest, former NFL player turned analyst, Will Blackmon. And let's just get started straight with the wine.
Straight with the wine already?
Straight with the wine. So what do you have for us?
So, we have an Albarino from, oh my gosh.
And that's Dan Hansis from the Around the NFL podcast.
We're keeping it organic. So I got
We've already had a little bit of wine.
Albarino from Rias Baixas. From Baixas. Basically, this one's actually from Spain. And we're actually in London. Like we're international with NFL Uncorked. It's pretty cool. Yes. So let's get right to it. She's wasting no time.
Okay.
So I'm gonna pour it here. Okay.
Now he's more of a wine expert than I am.
I don't want to say expert. I'm just saying I'm still learning about all this. So right now, if you look at it right now, you see it's pale. Like you can see through it. Probably pale straw. And from Albarino, you're gonna get citrus notes. You're gonna get like grapefruit. You know, you're gonna just get right to it. Just gonna.
God, it smells so good. I do smell like the grapefruit.
It's refreshing, right? You're gonna get citrus notes.
Yeah.
Let me taste it myself.
This is very refreshing. And what type of white wine is it?
So it's Albarino. It's Spanish white wine. So if you get that,
this is my first time ever having that. Then.
Yeah. So when you taste it, like you feel your mouth watering a bit. Mm-hmm. When you get that mouth watering feel, that means like there's high acid in the wine, which is good. And so this wine, what you would pair it with, you definitely would pair it with.
Pairing it with?
Yeah, you definitely some seafood.
I love seafood.
Like sushi would be great with this.
Can I get something like that in the States?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Because I've never heard of it at all.
You can get that worldwide.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really cool. You get some creamy notes with it. It's very, very refreshing. I like it. I enjoy it by myself. Actually, by itself. Yeah, it's pretty cool, refreshing, yeah.
And he's also known as the NFL wine guy.
Yeah, NFL wine guy.
What got you into like wine? Because no offense, not that many guys are like into wine, and I feel like it's getting more.
Right, some guys enjoy it, but I'm actually I'm actually studying it. Yeah, I'm studying it.
Got me trying to take classes too.
No, seriously, yeah. So basically, I always enjoyed it. You know, just on my own, had an acquired taste, and it wasn't until pretty much when I got to the NFL. Charles Woodson has his own winery in Napa called Charles Woodson Wines, and every weekend he would take us out. Take the defensive backs out to, have dinner, have wine, and always kept introducing us to different wines. And I just kept enjoying it, and then eventually, it wasn't until like a few years ago I saw the documentary Psalm, on Netflix, and actually directed by a good friend of mine, Jason Wise, and he directed, and it's about these guys training to be master sommeliers. And I was like, man, there's so much more to wine than to just drink it.
It's intimidating.
Yeah, to enjoy it. And so I was like, you know what? I found out that there was a master sommelier near my house where I live. He had a school. So I went and took a course there, and I learned about just geography. I learned about how to taste. I learned about a bunch of things. And
was that the one that you were saying was an 8-week class?
yeah, this was 8 week. It was WSAT, Wine and Spirits Education Trust. And so I ended up getting a level 2 with merit.
What are the different levels?
You can go all the way up to 4 in the WACT to diploma where you get to teach, and then or you can go through Guild Somm or Court of Masters. Court of Masters is where you can get the Master Sommelier. That's like, I think the success rate is like 6% to test that to pass. So yeah, I enjoy like the history. I enjoy the culture. I enjoy the lifestyle, and I'm just like hooked. So that's why I decided to create NFL Wine Guy to be a personal wine concierge. I partnered with Wine Exchange. They're in Santa Ana, California, and basically, I have guys hit me up if they're looking for any kind of wine or whatever they need or tips and ideas. They can hit me directly, or go to my website, NFLWineGuy.com, or go to the Instagram or Twitter at NFL Wine Guy.
It's got all of the social media
I create a whole world for it. Yeah, I enjoy it.
Now let's cheers first. Have another sip.
Absolutely. Yeah, we drink before we cheers.
let's transition to the football side.
Just let you know, when you cheers for people in different countries,
You gotta look in the eyes.
gotta
I'm
look,
sorry.
yeah,
No, my
you
best friend
gotta
told me that. Dang it. No, she told me that all the time. She's like, cheers, you gotta look me in the eye.
Yeah.
Okay. I messed up.
yeah, you gotta embrace the cheers.
So, football-wise, where we were just at, you were talking about being drafted by the Packers
Yep.
and playing with Brett Favre.
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, that was unreal. That was it was like a movie. Just because Favre was this legend that you heard of, you know. I remember as a kid watching the Super Bowl where they beat the Patriots. I think it was like 1996, and I remember just Desmond Howard's run, Brett Favre throwing to Andre Rison, like it was super cool. And then to actually walk into a building and be his teammate, that was just, I never really get starstruck, but it was like, okay, this is cool.
Describe that exact moment when you like met him for the first time.
I didn't want to go near him. That's what that's what was funny. I was like, man, like that's legendary. And how I grew up, I was such a historian. Like I watched all the NFL films, Steve Sable, you know, directing, and John Facenda's voice. Like I watched all that stuff. So to see him, I was like, man, this is like it. And this is where I belong, you know. And it was really cool. I remember we played the Raiders in 2007, and I ended up having 2 touchdowns. I had a punt return for a touchdown and a fumble recovery on special teams. And I remember going to the locker room, walking back through the tunnel, and I heard this voice. This guy was like, hey, Will. And meanwhile, we had William Henderson on the team. That ages me a bit. So I'm like, he ain't talking to me. I know it's Favre, but he's not talking to me at all. And he kept yelling, Will. And I turned around. He was like, is your name Will? I'm like, yeah. He goes, hey, good job today, man. Like, you did a great job. I was like,
What I mean, you're talking to me?
I know, exactly. I was like, well, thanks. And I was like, Dad, your father said do your job. So yeah, no, that was super cool, man. Just to be around football royalty, because I'm so obsessed with the game. I just love it, and it was cool to be around him.
And now you played in. You could probably list this out better than I can.
Yeah, so the Giants afterwards. Seattle's on there, but I went to training camp. Jacksonville for a few years, and then the Redskins for a few years. So
who would you say would be the player that you played with that you've learned the most from?
I would say the player that I learned the most from will probably be Charles Woodson. And I say this because my first few years, he didn't practice much. And usually coaches are really big on, you need to practice. You need to be there, get the reps, and he didn't. But I remember one day I was like, I need to learn how to watch film. So
he's not practicing, he's just watching a lot of film.
Well, I didn't know what he was doing,
Okay.
is what, you know what I'm saying? So I came back one night to the facility, and I was like, I'm gonna watch film. So I walked in, and the light was on from the projector, and Charles was in there watching film. And I was like, what's up? He was like, hey, come sit down. So he pretty much went through it, how he studies film, how he goes through everything, and taught me a lot. And then I remember when I turned on the lights, he had the whole grease board. It looked like a chemistry lab. And he basically made a game plan within the game plan. And he taught me a lot just that one day. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, he didn't practice much. I think he came out for walkthrough for the first few years. And then he just studied so much. And that taught me right there. I was like, man, it's more mental than physical. Because everybody in the NFL is athletic. Everyone's fast. Everyone's strong for the most part. But what separates everybody is the mind, having confidence and also preparing. Because, if you have those two things, it goes a long way.
Now, what's something that, a lot of people don't make it to the NFL? What's something that happens when you're in the NFL that a lot of people don't know about? Anything, just something that nobody really knows about.
I think not so much that people don't know about, but I think everyone forgets that everyone in the NFL is still a human being, despite doing supernatural things. Despite making all these crazy plays and crazy catches, is that when we leave the building or when the game is over, we go back to our families like everybody else. I think people forget that aspect because they look at, you look at someone like Tom Brady, you look at someone like Brett Favre, you look at somebody like Russell Wilson, and they're untouchable. Yeah. But at the end of the day, these are still individuals that are human beings. So it's not so much like they don't know; it's more so that's what they forget. you know. So I think that's really important for
Now,
fans
how
to-
is it balancing, like, you know, your NFL life and your family life? Because I know you have a son 8 years
Yeah.
old and a daughter 4.
Right.
How is that?
I don't think there's any balance at all. I think for me, my family is 100% is priority, you know, in going to work and having, you know, going to work. Yes, there you go. Eye contact. Going to work it should be fun. And I'm so thankful for me that I have such a supportive wife, my wife Shauna, that she's so forward thinking, you know. And anytime I got released from a team, she never looked at it as a negative. She's like, man, okay, you get a new team, you get a fresh start. This is a new city we get to learn about. You know, we'll find everything. We'll find a school. We'll set it up. And she was
Glass half full. That's
awesome. Way more positive. And I was like, you know, I was on the opposite end where I saw the positive. I was still irritated at what happened. And so she was real supportive in terms of, hey, okay, let's go get it. All right, you know, because there's another opportunity. It's not like it ended.
Now, how is that? Because I know a lot of people watch Hard Knocks and it's like, oh, you know, this is the cut day, but they don't realize these are people's lives. Like they're losing a job, like, or they'll have to, you know, pick up and go to another team. How is that, like, moving and finding another place to stay? I know you mentioned that you kind of lived long distance for a season or two.
Yeah, no, getting released is tough. Because you just don't know. You have no idea what the front office is thinking. And yet we moved, I think 11 times we moved. You know, it's hard when you have kids, but it's even harder once the kids are in school. And that's where it got tough for us. Like, I think the toughest release I dealt with was I was in Jacksonville and I got signed by Seattle. And so I for sure knew I made the team. I was with the first defense the whole time. And so I moved my family out there. And I remember I was like, okay, I made the team. I'm pretty sure, I'm like, I've been through it before. I'm sure I made the team. We started unboxing on like Friday night. And then Saturday morning, I woke up at like 6 and got a call. And they said, hey, can you come in, bring your playbook, we're gonna release you. And I was like, damn. Yeah. We're in this like really nice house in Seattle. Box. My wife is unpacking everything because she's excited. Our kids are happy to be here. And it was just like, man, you know, that was tough. That's what it is, you know, that's just reality, you know. So fortunately for me, the next day I got up and I got a call from the Redskins, which was another opportunity. And that was interesting.
Now, how is that? Like, if you do get cut, is there like, you know, certain coaches that you worked with before that you can kind of like talk to? Like, how is it you're just like a sitting duck out there and, you know, you're just waiting for a team? Or is there anything that you can kind of do to put, like, you know, your name in somebody's ear to kind of like maybe pick you up?
Basically I know. Come on, Chris.
I know. My husband's trying to get more drinks.
Can we finish this?
Go ahead.
We'll edit this.
All right, so back to the question, is there anything, whenever you're cut, is there, you know, coaches that you've been with before? How do you, like, get your name, like, in their ear? Like, is there anything that you can do, or you're just, you know, sitting out there just waiting and that's it?
The only beneficial thing about getting cut in training camp is that your name is on the wire. Like, you just came out of a camp. So people know that you've been practicing. They have film on you from the preseason, so they have an idea. It's more difficult when you haven't been in a training camp. That team's looking for you. So for the most part, I never really had to call anybody outside of camp. Usually I did get a call right away. So yeah, it's just kind of like, okay, I got cut. Let me, like, you know, understand what's happened, that me and my wife figure out like what we're gonna do, and it's pretty chill, you know. We've been through it before, and our family, we're real resilient, you know. All of us, me, my wife, Shauna, my son Ryder, our daughter Jade, like, yeah, we get it.
Can adjust easy.
Yeah.
Well, how is it winning a Super Bowl?
That was crazy.
Like, take us through that.
Yeah, no, but it's crazy because I have this like idea of like when you're a general manager, there's like a 4-year plan, right? You become a head coach or a general manager, you got 4 years to like get your team where you need to be. So I was with Green Bay, same year we hired Mike McCarthy. did the 4 years all the way to 2010, and I was like, this is it, you know, like we're gonna go. I remember Mike McCarthy, he had a meeting and he showed us a team picture that was all blank. And he's like, fill up those spots. Like, this is the year. And that's the year I got released. And sure enough, they went to Super Bowl and won that year. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like,
damn.
I know, I'm over here watching at home, like, look at these guys, like, win the Super Bowl. And so I go to the Giants that year that they won, and then Giants brought me back the next year. And that's the year we won the Super Bowl. And it was crazy. It was kind of like,
So
man.
you've been like all up and
Yeah,
down.
up and down. Exactly. I've been the lowest of the lowest and highest of the highest. It was crazy because I was like, I feel like I was owed one because I went through that whole plan with Green Bay. You know, so it was really cool to go to New York, and we had to actually beat Green Bay in the playoffs and then go to San Fran and win. And to win, it was like a movie. You know, I never missed a Super Bowl since I've been alive. And I seen what it was like. I seen the confetti. I seen everybody excited with their families, and I was like, man, that'd be so cool to be on the field with your son. And I had my son with me, had my wife, had my dad, and my dad was important because he's the one that put the ball in my hand, and it was cool. It really was like a movie, and you know, if there's anything that I cherish, it's definitely that.
Yeah. Who's the best quarterback you've played with? Is it Favre?
Here's what's crazy. So when I was on the Packers, the first string went against Favre. The second string went against Aaron Rodgers.
So you knew.
Dude, so I'm telling you,
You knew what was coming.
bullets were flying, okay? So the crazy thing is, if you weren't better than our backup, in most cases, quarterbacks weren't, then like we had nothing to worry about. But yeah, playing against those two just in practice alone was tough. I think Russell's pretty dynamic in how he is. If Drew Brees gets in the zone, it's like forget about it because he's the most accurate quarterback of all time. You know, so I would say Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and then Favre.
Who's your pick right now for MVP? If you had to pick like right now.
Right now, MVP would be. It has to be Christian McCaffrey.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, it gotta be Christian. It got, you know, and I think Russ is a close second, but right now it's Christian because you lose Cam.
Yep.
And he's like 45. Christian's like, you know, he's getting the ball. He's like 45% of the offense. He's getting the football, and he's just lighting dudes up every week. So right now it gotta be Christian.
William. So what is it that you do right now? Like we're in London.
Right. So, yeah, right now I am in the analyst world. Actually, they call them pundits out here.
Oh,
yeah, pundits or
okay.
presenters, pundits. So, yeah, I got a cool opportunity with Sky Sports to be the liaison for the NFL, aka American football, and it's been cool. I've been here for a month. And another month to go, and it's been really cool just to tap into another market and to educate the fan. That's kind of my style. My style of being an analyst is I want to make sure whenever I'm done talking about football, like you left learning something. Like I'm not the antagonist. I'm not the type to argue with everybody. I'm not the type to put down, talk bad about players or coaches or teams. Like I'll give constructive criticism, like what I think, but I'll never put anybody down. And it's been really cool out here. I'm a city boy, so I enjoy the city life. I love the history in London. I'm from the East Coast, so I enjoy all that.
What's your favorite thing about London so far?
I like everyone's style. I like fashion. I like everyone's fashion. It's cool. Like there's an Oyster card that you have. It's called an Oyster card where you just tap it and it's public transportation, and it's cool to see like everybody on the trains and buses with like their different styles. It's really cool, and it kind of gives me like some ideas.
Okay. And now, I should have asked you this earlier because when you mentioned it, I thought it was the cutest thing ever. You talked about coaching your son and how you would fly back home to do that. Explain all that.
Yeah, so people ask me like, does your son play football? And I'm like, only if he wants to. And he did. He wanted to play football. He played, when he was 5 years old, he played in this one team. And they were getting, like, their butts kicked all the time. But I was like, okay, if you're going to get your butt kicked, at least, like, still try to have fun. And the coach had no energy. So I was like, you know what? I'll coach him because I don't want him to hate it. Yeah. So I decided that I'll coach him. I had a bunch of friends, his friends. And so I remember when I was in OTAs on the Redskins, I would fly home every weekend just to like coach.
And where was home at that time?
Home was in California, so I would fly from DC all the way to California every weekend just to coach his team with his friends, and we ended up going undefeated and won. I did that 2 years. I did it 2 years straight, and it was cool. I enjoyed it, man, because I feel like my son, he's such an old soul. He listens well, and I can just give him advice. I'm not like hard on him where I expect so much, but I want him to have fun. So I had fun. We had a lot of fun. It was like 4 boys and 4 girls, and we went undefeated. So that was cool.
And those are the memories that like your son will always remember.
No question about it. Yeah. So I was like, whatever he needs. If he really wanted to play, but I was make sure like I coach him so I can give him the right information, and I made sure the kids had fun.
Okay. Well, cheers again. Thank you so much for taking the time.
No, absolutely. Awesome. We made it happen.
Yes.
We made it happen. Yeah.
I'm like, London, wait a minute. I gotta talk to him.
Yeah.
So NFL Wine Guy on Instagram, Twitter, and what's the website?
The website is NFLWineGuy.com.
Okay.
It's easy.
Thanks again.
Yeah, cheers. Absolutely. Yep.